So let's go ahead and save this data. Alright, so we have our data loaded over here. Okay, so let's go back to this section. Now what we want to do is we want to know the total sales. Okay, alright, so let's try and then add that particular column to this one. Then we are going to call it total sales. Okay, like that, and the total sales is going to be the sum of all of our sales. Okay, so we just save it to have our total sales column. Now let's look at we can look at something like a total sales price, but then it still would make sense, because if I have 350 repeating over here and we want to sum them up, it's still not going to make sense. So we can look at the total units sold. So let's add another one, then call this total units. So the total unit is also going to be the sum of units sold. Okay, alright, so now that we have our data available, now let's check this one here. Okay, now we want to format this one. You can see the format is now general, so we want to format this to currency, because that is the total sales, right? So let's change it to currency. So now that we are done changing it to currency, in fact, even for America, you're gonna hire until the Ghana cedis never show. So let's change this one to Ghana cedi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So the total units, this is okay. And then our sales figures to, this is okay. Let's change the sales figures to currency also. Okay, when it's done, then we can work around that to use Ghana cedis. Then the sales price too, I think we want needed, and then the units too. So basically this is the only thing we're going to analyze, like this one, and then that of this one. So let's go back to this particular area and then select a new card over here. Okay, and this is what we're going to be using the card for. The card is going to be, we're going to have two different cards. Okay, one is going to display the total sales, and then the other is going to display the total units. Okay, all right, so let's drag our total sales, or okay, the units first. Let's push our total unit over here, and then let's create another one. Okay, and call this one, let's leave some space, total sales also over here. All right, okay, so let's do it like that. Okay, good. So now that we have this one, the next thing we want to do is I would want to plot a graph of something against the other. Okay, so let's look at our dates. Okay, so let's first of all call our table here, and then throw our dates in there. So we are going to plot our dates as against the units sold. All right, okay, all right, so when we are through with this one, we would also want to plot. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and then finish with this one before we move on to the next particular element on it. So let's use this line. All right, so we can draw through to see this is quarter and this is monthly. I think monthly is okay. We can decide to go by the monthly. So total units sold by month, we can see that in the month of January, this is how much we sold, February, this is how much we sold, and May, this is how much we sold. And you can see how this thing here changes dynamically whenever we click on a particular month. For instance, if I want to know the sales of, say, November, like that, I click on this one and you can see what is happening over here, right? So let's add one other thing. Okay, so let me add one more line chart. over here, I want to push that one to the bottom like that, pin it like this, and then throw in my date. And so this is unit sold, so we want to look at the sales itself. So okay, I think I have sales over here, so let me throw sales in here. Now let me draw through my sales. This is quarterly, and then this is monthly. All right, so now that I'm done with this one, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to try and then make sure that this thing here is dynamic enough. Okay, we want to make it dynamic enough. All right, so we are going to throw in our slicer. Okay, good. So let's try and then reduce the size, but then we won't be using just one slicer. Okay, we're going to be using multiple of them. So the next thing I'm going to do over here is to throw in my country. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm going to do over here. So if I need the sales or the units sold or anything, the total units or total sales by Canada, I just select Canada and everything is going to update. Okay, if I need that of France, then everything is also going to change dynamically. Okay, but then I won't want to display it like this. I want it as a drop down. Okay, so you can view it by country. Okay, let me push this one here. Let me add another one. We can also view it by product. Okay, then change this one here to a drop down, then reduce the size of this one. Let me leave some space over here. Then we can also do it by that of segment. So let me call this guy here and then throw in segment in there, then change the segment to a drop down. Okay, so you realize that by default everything is all. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and then push these guys here. Then you can see that, and I have a kind of a cool visualization over here. Let me increase the size a bit. Let me push this one here, increase the size a bit, and increase the size of this one to a bit. I'm not good at designer, so read it. Wow, I know I understand you. Okay, right. Let me push this one here a bit. All right, so I think we did quite a good job. Let me push this one here. And if can afford it, yeah, and then if I am pay, you get it. So now that we have this one here, okay, that's really cool. So the next thing we would want to do is perhaps start adding some kind of more styles to this particular visualization over here. And it's really cool that if you want your unit sold, if you need your total unit, if you need this, or in fact if these things here look quite smaller, you can change them. Okay, you remember we're using this one here to be changing the fonts and everything over there. Okay, so you can actually adjust them to suit what you want. Okay, but as of now we can just change it by country, say France. All right, so even checking just France, we can see that we are looking at France for all products, all segments, and the total units sold is 157.61 million. Okay, now let's check it for a product, say just this product, and you can see that this thing here updated. All right, now we can come to segment. Let's go to enterprise, and whoa, you see that thing, and it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Okay, so this is how we can use Microsoft Power BI for basic data analysis. And as I said earlier on, this is the introductory course. So in subsequent courses, we are going to be looking at more advanced features than this. Thank you.